Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back, everyone. It is the Con and Bob Podcast, Episode 6. I am Bob. Alongside me, Con. Lots of wrestling to talk about. We were on hiatus for a week there, eh, bud?
Yeah, some let's just say hangover day.
I'd like to say it was there was some tension between the two, but
yeah,
ever since those Bob Club and Con Artist shirts came out,
you know, it's just causing a bit of a rift here in the Con Man universe.
Exactly, but we're putting our differences aside, come together for you, the Con Man community.
Yep, we're literally just like reforming the Rockers here, you know, that one special night where they forget all their differences and returned in the ring. That's what we're doing here. But man, we're back. I missed the podcast last week.
I know it's a busy time of year, busy week for both of us for many different reasons, and we tried to say, all right, well, maybe we'll do it this day, and then something else came up, and then you know what, we'll do it the next day. No, something else, and
that's exactly what it was. There's always something else going on, and it made it a little bit difficult since we were kind of restricted as to what are time frames that we can record. It seems like we record this every single time at like 10 or 11 p.m. It's ridiculously late when we start doing this.
Exactly. But we're recording this one for you guys, and we're back. We're back. Better than ever.
Yes.
We're bobber than ever.
Oh, we're bobber than ever. I like that.
Back and bobber than ever.
I like that, man. But I guess, you know, we can bob into Raw, right?
Terrible. I love it.
Just the worst at segues in the entire world. But you know what, man? Like Raw this week and Smackdown, you know, I think it's safe to say WWE has found their stride in writing recently. Their writing has been a lot better. And especially considering, like, you know, the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 months here on the main roster have been miles better than they were in early 2018 and late 2017. It's been really good wrestling recently.
Definitely better wrestling and better storytelling as well.
Yes.
Storytelling is the big thing for me, as you know, but like the wrestling is huge, obviously, and the athleticism and their skills in the ring, but it's storytelling in the ring and storytelling outside of it that I love. So
yeah, and like one of the things that WWE has been doing a little bit more here is, we've mentioned this on previous shows, but they're creating more overarching stories for the entire night. Something where the opening segment is going to lead to the main event, and there's going to be a story going with that all night, which, you know, it honestly should be like that in every WWE show. And tonight, or at least Monday Night Raw, was no different. We started out the show with the Shield coming down to the ring. They had a few things to get off their chest, you know, showing loyalty to each other and showing that they are in fact the workhorses of the WWE. Do you like that name, by the way? The Workhorses?
Yeah, I do, because they back it up.
Yeah.
Like if they were Brock Lesnar's claiming it or whatever, but we all know how many matches these guys put in a year, right?
Yeah.
They're all out there, every single house show, every single televised show. And if it was needed that they be on SmackDown and Raw, if they weren't the brand split, those guys would be.
Absolutely. That's 100%. They are the workhorses of the WWE. Their name works out well with that. But anyways, some people who want to challenge the name of the Workhorses and also try to take the titles away from the Shield is the group of Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre. They made their presence known here tonight alongside Baron Corbin. And you know what? They continue to wreak havoc at the top of the card, continue to look like a formidable trio, and I'm excited to see where they continue to go. They've got me hyped for Super Showdown.
I literally have that written down. Hyped for showdown match.
Yeah, it's going to be a good showdown match for sure. But you know what? This started out the segment quite nicely. And anything you want to say on this starting segment?
Yeah, like Corbin's been great. He's been wonderful what he's been doing, and like I really liked the aspect of them kind of targeting Dean, and it was that overarching storyline that you talked about, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Targeting
the possibility of a Dean Ambrose heel turn.
Yeah, trying to tease it, trying to like persuade him, and I liked the way that they went about it. And I don't know, I like when they do things like this, and like a lot of the things that they're saying are somewhat true, right?
Yes, very
Like
true.
Dolph said it later in the night. I was just speaking the truth, man. Like,
Well,
or whatever.
they were
Something along those
basically
lines.
speaking like, what all of us fans have been saying for the last little bit. Like, Dean Ambrose is the only member in the Shield without a title. He's kind of viewed as just being there right now. We even said it like a couple weeks ago on the podcast, right? He's just kind of there. So I liked that was the focus of tonight, that night, where they made Dean Ambrose the focus of the Shield and not Roman Reigns, not Seth Rollins, right? It was Dean Ambrose's night, and it was his night to shine in the Shield. So that was pretty cool. And like, there was obviously that tease, like, hey, would Dean Ambrose turn on his brothers,
Yeah, there was the one thing at the end of the night that, like, as much as I liked it, I didn't like something, but we'll talk about that once we get to that
once
point.
we get to there. But like, I guess I will say this, that WWE did a good job in retaining our attention and not allowing people to switch over to Monday Night Football, right? They did a good job with at least Dean Ambrose's story on the night. So I like that. Let's switch paces, though, over to the next match on the night. We had Finn Balor versus Jinder Mahal. And I've got written down right here that Jinder Mahal, I think, is honestly in the perfect spot for his character. A guy who is jacked, he looks imposing. He's not really well liked by the fans, and he's kind of goofy, right? He's in a good position to be an enhancement talent with a gimmick, and there's always a need for people like that, You get people that come to mind, like Kane used to be in this role for a little bit, and he made a lot of money doing this. So it's needed in WWE. Do you like Jinder in this spot?
You know what I do, actually? Like, firstly, I'm going to just touch on the match quick in the aspect of I love how much they're bringing attention to the mixed match challenge.
Yeah.
I love that little thing. But back to Jinder, like, I'm a fan of his character. I was literally thinking about it by the end of the match, how he kind of showed that aggression toward his subject, essentially. And
that was really weird, though, that he just beat him up and then sat cross-legged in the ring saying Shanti. It was very weird.
You know what I like, though? It gives him like a little bit of character in the sense of he's not this guy that's just saying, oh, Shanti, like trying to be like calm, like let's stay calm. Now he's like, we're seeing why he's trying to stay calm, right?
True.
Because he just kind of all of a sudden had this stay calm thing, but now it's like we're seeing why, because he does have this temper and his like physical authority, because he's jacked and he's huge, has the capability of doing some damage. But I think he's a solid enhancement talent that can get a few heel runs in the mid card, maybe a tag team type stuff, depending on who he's with. I don't think we're gonna ever see him back in the main card.
No, I like the main
obviously,
WWE
but
title picture. No,
yeah,
I don't think so.
I like where he is right now, and I like. I differ in the sense, I guess, from you a little bit that I enjoyed the aspect of him kind of losing his cool, beating up his subject.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It was a cool. It's at least nice to see somebody getting something on TV, whatever that may be, right?
Yeah,
it was nice to see them give him something.
And it gives us a little bit of a thing where maybe the Singh brothers, that one's Sunil, right?
Yes, Sunil. Yeah.
Sunil, and when his brother Samir comes back, maybe they're not forever stuck with Jinder.
You know what? That's funny that you bring that up.
Talented guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're good at what they do. They take bumps well. They can wrestle. They're, like, good on the mic, obviously, everything. Good enough to have some tag team division success.
You know what, man? I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I was honestly thinking when I was watching it live, it felt like maybe Samir Singh was going to come back and make the save for his brother, It kind of felt like that was maybe going to happen. So maybe in some coming weeks we see some more attacks from Jinder Mahal, and that's how Samir comes and he makes the save.
That's what I mean. It builds to this, which keeps all these guys relevant. It gives them a storyline without having to necessarily have to force someone else into a storyline.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
I like that. Good thinking there, man. But anyways, the result of the match was that Balor defeated Mahal. We're going to literally just say that about the match because the match itself was literally just there. So it was there to hype up
the belly to belly. The belly to belly.
Yeah, the belly to belly. It was botched though, eh? You notice that? Yeah, it was botched on the outside. Like it almost looked like they got their feet in the direction they were turning mixed up. Like it's almost like Bayley wanted to go left, but Alicia Fox thought she meant her left. You know what I mean? Like they just had a little bit of a miscue timing there.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you know what? Like the belly to belly was huge on the outside, and it does create some hype for the mixed match challenge, like you said. So that's always good, right?
Exactly.
But oh boy, we might go on to a pretty long tangent here about someone known as Brie Bella. She had a match alongside her sister and Natalya taking on the Riot Squad, and maybe the worst botch of the year happened because it put somebody's career in danger. Like, do you think that's safe to say for WWE? I can't think of a bigger one this year.
Yeah, like, okay, this one's a bit weird. First of all, I think I've been seeing a bunch of your tweets lately on your Conman167 Twitter account from my Bob Zraslin, BOBSRASSLIN Twitter account. I've been seeing your tweets about Nikki recently, and the more that I see... No.
Oh, Nikki? Okay,
I've been seeing your tweets about Nikki recently. The more that I'm seeing your tweets about Nikki, the more that I'm realizing, oh, wow. And the more that I'm watching her, because when she was a dominant force in the WWE, excuse me, I didn't watch much. So I'm watching her more and more, and I'm realizing, wow, she really is good. Right. And then the more that I watch Brie at the same time, I go, how are these twins so vastly different?
They are, right? And the thing is also, they're vastly different, but they don't look that different. They are twins, other than a couple little enhancement talents of their own. There's really not been that much difference to them. But
their talent level in the ring, Nikki is really good.
She's solid.
And everything that Brie does that I have seen, again, this is someone who has never really watched these two go much. Because I never watched it when it was their WWE women's division, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me jump in there, though, on that part. For somebody who has been watching it for a long time, Nikki Bella, though, used to be the weaker of the two. She used to be very, very much the weaker of the Bella twins. It was Brie Bella who was getting all the pushes and getting the limelight because she was good back then. She was fine for where she was and what the Divas division was all about. But nowadays, what she's doing in that ring is not cutting it.
No, I honestly think it's WWE partially thinking it's Daniel Bryan's wife. Mm-hmm. She's wrestled and trained with him and blah, 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 blah. She must know some and be good with some stuff. And on the aspect of the actual botch, the kick, we're obviously talking about the yes kicks.
If for anybody that didn't know what happened, Brie Bella was delivering a couple yes kicks like she does in most of her matches. Liv Morgan took the first one right to the face, and I think the kick was a little high on the first one, and it was mostly on Brie's shoulders to bear the blame. But the second one was a complete accident. Anyway, she took 2 kicks right to the face, and she was out cold on the first one and got crushed with the second one.
Well, I think the second one was worse.
Oh, the second one was... Oh, no, the second one was 100% worse. She got crushed with the second one, but she was out cold on the first one.
So here's my thing. You said, the first one was on Brie's shoulders. The second one was more of an accident.
Yeah, the second one was an accident because the way... And that's why you can't really blame Brie too much to the extent here, because accidents do happen in WWE. She needs to be more careful. That's the main gist of it. She needs to, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But essentially what happened is the first kick knocked Liv Morgan out cold, and as she was falling, Brie hit the second kick and connected right on the face. And that, I think, is what gave her the concussion.
Yeah, so in my mind, from a different standpoint, I blame Brie more so on the second one.
You blame her on the second one. Interesting. Okay.
Because you need to be aware of
Yes.
what if you're looking and you go, oh, looks like she's coming down a little bit there. I need to hold up. Maybe I don't throw my second kick yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Be
Okay.
aware of what your partner is doing, right? Like that is your dance partner. That is your like teammate essentially when you're in the ring with them. You need to be aware and know what is happening because their career, their health is in your hands, as is yours, theirs. So you need, and this goes for any wrestler. This goes for like any of the women in that match, any of the men on the roster, anyone, anything. You need to be aware of what your teammate is doing there and what your opponent essentially there is what's happening. Because like I think it's as easy as taking the first kick. Oh, no, kicked a little high. Yeah, I hit her a little bit high up. That's my bad. The second kick doesn't need to come in real hot and real quick like that. Just look at what your partner's doing because even if she didn't hit Liv high on the first kick, even Liv, like the way that people sell is different. Liv could have like sold that she kind of like ricocheted back and then leaned forward and then was going to come back up on it. And still, even if she didn't get knocked out on that first kick, when she was coming back down, if it was just a selling thing, Brie needs to be aware of that.
Oh, she does.
Yeah. Any wrestler does.
Any wrestler.
And that's the thing that and then what killed me later is again, that knee looks so aggressive that she does because I saw again later in the match too, I believe it was Ruby, the like running knee up against the
the Brie mode knee. Yep.
Yeah, the Brie mode knee. It looks really tight. Like, and there's a difference between looking stiff and looking. The issue that I have with that move is it's not done by a Daniel Bryan or Charlotte Flair or someone who has that type of experience that like and knowledge of I know that I can do this safe enough for my opponent. And the move itself, in my opinion, is remarkably dangerous.
Oh, it is.
Because
it's so dangerous.
It's literally whiplash. You're literally immediately causing whiplash if you don't time it properly and hit it properly. And for someone who in the 3 weeks, is it 3 weeks now? 4 weeks that she's been back?
3 or 4 weeks, something like that. Yeah.
She's had about as many botches in those weeks.
She hasn't gone a week without botching since she's been back.
Yeah. So the kick itself, accidents happen, like you said, but I put a lot of blame on Brie strictly. Like I read a tweet, I think it was from Daily DDT, saying if you blame Brie for that kick and you don't blame AJ for the botched Styles clash a couple years ago, like that's not right.
Yeah,
but
that's a very good point there. And like, so I can jump into on that. And you know what? Like, yeah, if it's a one-off accident, you know, like say AJ Styles that botched Styles clash a few years ago or whatever, that's one thing. You know, everything happens in there really, really quickly. Accidents do happen. I think the reason for the actual outrage for Brie Bella, though, has been, like we said, she's been back for 3-4 weeks, and every single week, there's been something that stands out, you know, whether it be her 2 botched suicide dives. Now she gave Liv Morgan a concussion. She slammed, I forget who it was, Zelina Vega, right, with that Brie Mo knee, and just crushed her in the face. She's been, I'm not gonna say that she's been careless because I don't know what's going through her head, but she has not been the Brie Bella from years past, because at least the Brie Bella in years past, she could put on serviceable matches and not serviceable matches. Yeah, and not risk anybody in the ring, you know. But since she's been back, it's been one thing after another, whether it's her own career being put in danger or whether it be, you know, Liv Morgan's career. injuries happen, and nobody should ever be mad for when a superstar accidentally, kicks a person in the face, they get a concussion, because that's what they sign up for the job for. This is
exactly
that is it. It's not okay because an accident happened, but it's an accident, and people got to look at it like that it's an accident. But when the accidents continue to happen, it no longer is just an accident, it's a problem. And when you have a problem, you got to address it. And Brie Bella needs to address her problems right here. Otherwise, she is legitimately going to hurt somebody even worse. Well, what if, that knee that she hit on Zelina Vega, right? What if she crushed it even harder? What if she legitimately caved in the nose of Zelina Vega and gave her a concussion and there was blood everywhere, We saw that. We saw what can happen with a wrong time knee with Seth Rollins and John Cena years ago. It can crush the skull and the nose and everything like that of the person that you're hitting with the move. So you got to be extremely cautious. And Brie Bella needs to pick it up.
I agree completely. And just on that AJ Brie aspect, more so is the Styles Clash. You can't look down and see, as you're jumping and falling, and go, "Oh, he tucked his head the wrong way. I need to somehow turn my body while I'm in the air." That's denying the laws.
What's also crazy though is I remember hearing in the James Ellsworth podcast that he mentioned. Do you remember when James took that botch Styles Clash?
Yep.
Yeah, you remember that? Apparently AJ Styles saved James's life somehow. He doesn't know, he couldn't recall exactly what Styles did, but when James botched that, Styles was able to pull up at the last second or get a toe down to relieve some of the pressure coming down on the neck of James. And
that's the skill of AJ Styles at work.
That's where the skill comes in. So when AJ Styles, when he botches, it's not because of a lack of quote unquote skill. When you see Brie Bella try to do a suicide dive and is unable to hit it at full speed, that's a lack of skill.
Yeah.
And
with the kick, it's a lack of awareness. For me.
Yeah.
Awareness is the theme of this for me. It's you need to be aware of what is going on in that ring with
24/7.
Teammates, with your opponents, everything. Where the ref is, because that's the other thing.
It's your job.
It's not just the people wrestling. If you mess up and you do something wrong that hits the ref the wrong way, that's another person who's literally not signed up to get hurt, getting hurt.
Yep.
Right. And that is just all these things for any wrestlers. They need to be aware. And that for me was just a lack of awareness.
Yep. I 100% agree with you there. Brie mode, get a little more aware. But we do have more Monday Night Raw to talk about here. So let's.
Riot Squad picked up the win, by the way, in that match, which after that kick happened early in the match.
It did. Oh yeah, by the way, kudos to Liv Morgan for taking that triple suplex or 6-woman suplex thing that they did. She popped up after she got knocked out cold and took that suplex while the ref was holding her back, telling her, "You are not allowed." She disobeyed the referee, which had direct orders from backstage to not let Liv Morgan into the ring, and she still went in there and tried to finish the match. If that doesn't earn you respect with the boys and the girls backstage, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The Riot Squad picked up the win. I like that. Good for the Riot Squad. Ruby Riot is criminally underrated, so hopefully this is the start of a push for her as well. But most likely what it is it's just building up, their match in Australia. Anyways, move on here to Chad Gable versus Connor. This is probably the big sour point, I would say, from an in-ring standpoint and an actual storytelling standpoint. For me this week, I did not like that Chad Gable picked up a clean loss to Connor. Connor hasn't picked up a win in what seems like forever, so why are you feeding a guy who you're in the middle of pushing a new tag team with? It didn't sit right with me. How about you?
Well, in all fairness, Connor's losing streak is definitely shorter than that of Kurt Hawkins, but but it was a little it was a little surprising.
Mhm.
I love Gable.
Yep.
I think he's one of the most athletic people in the WWE from like for a pound for pound standpoint. It's scary the things that he can do. And
He's
like
so incredible.
the energy that he has and just like his ability overall from an in-ring standpoint. And I'm like, okay. And I like the aspect of utilizing the Ascension, but I don't like the aspect of a clean loss. Like you said, I
Mhm.
would have been fine if and like in all fairness, kudos to Connor picking up a W,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
But like you said, for the aspect of it being a brand new tag team that's only a couple of weeks old, and you're trying to build hype for these guys, otherwise, what is the point?
Mhm.
Why are you making them lose clean to guys that, no offense to the Ascension, don't really matter?
Yeah, and,
Unless you're gonna
yeah.
be building the Ascension,
Mhm.
and it does not seem like they're gonna be doing that,
It
so
seemed like they were hinting at a singles run for Connor, which, I'm all for building talent as long as it doesn't come at the expense of another talent who you are currently investing in. Whether it be
yeah.
Chad Gable long term or short term, you're investing in Gable, and you can't just be feeding him to Connor on a random off night on Raw. That to me, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem fair to Gable, who has been on a roll in recent weeks, especially. Um,
Mhm.
the only way that I see, the only reason I could see this happening, we have seen there have been a little bit of tension between Rude and Gable without there meaning to be. It's like fun tension. Like they laugh it off when it happens, but when it does happen, they're kind of shocked. Gable tagging himself in on Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode always has that kind of like, what's this kid doing? But oh well, whatever. I wonder if it's leading to possibly down the line of a Bobby Roode heel turn or a Bobby Roode turning his back on Chad Gable and going in a different direction. If that's where they're going with it, then, maybe it makes sense that Gable picked up the loss here and that further aggravates Bobby Roode into eventually turning his back on Gable. But as of right now, it made no sense for him to pick up the clean loss.
Yeah. Quick question.
Yep.
When is Jason Jordan supposed to be getting back?
See, Jason Jordan is a very interesting type of story going on right now because he was supposed to be back a while ago. He was rumored to come back, I believe, around SummerSlam time, but he is working in a backstage role right now because apparently his injury is much worse than they thought. He may never wrestle again.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of rumors
Oh.
about that, but he may never wrestle again.
What, it was his neck?
Yeah.
Was it his
something
neck?
in his neck.
Yeah. Shit.
I know, right?
That's
It sucks hearing that, especially considering they had all these big plans for Jason Jordan. They had the plans to a blow-off match between Angle and Jordan. Obviously, that meant, Jordan turning further heel. I would have liked to see it. It's just, I hope he'll eventually recover and be able to come back in the ring.
And, like, he's so young. Like, how old is that dude?
Jason Jordan, he is... how old is this guy? He is 29 years old. There you go. So he's not even 30 yet.
Young, man. Like that's not even 30. And in this industry, guys can go till they're 45.
Oh yeah, here's the crazy
especially
part.
when you're that athletic. So he had another, like he could have had almost a 20-year career, at least a 15-year career in WWE. And at one point or another, him and Chad Gable are bound to cross paths.
Yeah.
And whether it's reunions and like kind of getting back together as American Alpha or whether it's feuds and things like that, there's a lot of things that you can do with that type of build.
Well, there
and
is.
This was one of those teams that are these young guys that have a lot of hype behind them as a team, and then they split and do their own way, and they did it in a good way in the sense that they didn't necessarily break up.
Mm-hmm.
It was just
they got separated.
One went to Raw. They got separated.
Yep, they got separated. And like, I'm a big fan of young tag teams coming in together, with two guys who they might want to make stars one day, and then, having that team separate, and then you start a good feud, and then you can get them back together at later times. Like, young tag teams are really, really good for the WWE because it's a very, very easy told story.
It's the best way to come into the industry,
It
I
really
think.
is. I do agree with you on that one. And it's actually kind of crazy. I'm just looking at some ages right here. And Chad Gable's 32 years old. So Jason Jordan's even younger than Gable. And I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of a
kind of a bummer.
That's a bummer to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, Connor picks up the win though.
Yep, Connor picked up the win. Hopefully we'll see some better stuff for Gable and the glorious one, Bobby Roode, in future weeks. Okay, we have the match of the week for me, the Raw Tag Team Championship match, The Revival versus Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. This match was awesome. The Revival showed once again why they are quote-unquote, they call themselves this at least, the best tag team in the world. They were really good. They showed off their athleticism, and they showed off that they could be good baby faces in the future. What do you think about a babyface run for the Revival?
I don't mind it. Like, these guys are unreal. They're so good as a team. They're so good individually in that ring. They are physical. They tell a good story, but they're also athletic. And like, they do a lot of good things. Like, they're wrestlers.
They are wrestlers. They're
right?
Pure wrestlers. They ain't sports entertainers. They're wrestlers.
No, I love it. And like, I think that in order to be a good baby face for them, their build needs to be from the proper way of how they turn face.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this Pac attacking them, taking away their gold title chance, like, this was their
it was their chance.
Yeah, so I think that them doing that and then them getting the opportunity and not being able to, I think it's a good way to start a face turn.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that they're face yet.
I don't think they are.
A good way to start it.
Mm-hmm. It's a good way to kind of kick it into motion, right?
Yeah. The match itself was great, though. Like you said, Drew is a beast.
I was going to say,
Dolph
Ziggs was the mastermind of that match.
Dolph was as he always is, incredible.
Is it safe to say Ziggler might be the best seller in the WWE?
Yeah, he's up there for sure.
Like, because when I was watching this match, some of the moves that he took, the way that his body just kind of
I definitely say he's top 3.
Yeah.
I know that he gets a lot of criticism from certain people that he oversells.
Yeah. I think that's people just looking to complain.
Yeah. But a lot of people say that Jim Carrey overacts, and that guy's hilarious. So
exactly.
And a phenomenal actor overall. Doesn't even have to be comedic. Yeah. But it's the same thing with Dolph. Like, Dolph can oversell at times, but it's because, think about The Rock. The Rock oversold every single Stone Cold Stunner he ever took.
You can't watch a compilation of Stone Cold Steve Austin without seeing The Rock do that weird flip thing. Yeah, he did that all the time.
Yeah, and it was comedic, but it's also it did make it look aggressive, right? And Dolph doesn't do it to a comedic aspect. He does it to make it look like and he's also one to go up on his do a headstand and get hang time for 2 seconds and then drop and look like he's literally dead weight right there.
Yep.
He's not just doing that hang and then springing down and rolling around. He's dropping dead weight.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about Dolph when he does do those just drop and looks like he is kind of knocked out.
I agree. He's
not Liv Morgan knocked out.
No, not really knocked out.
No.
Okay, we then had the Bobby Lashley and Elias segment. We also got to see the latest rendition of the Kevin Owens show beforehand. Leo Rush also made an appearance, and I like the combination of Rush and Lashley. Last week it was working, it seemed like they got the right combo last week, and this week it really took off. Lashley's biggest reception since he's been back. He looks like the most over he's ever been. Solid in the ring, and they continue to, like I said, continue to work on the chemistry between Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley. I like it. I like this little brother, big brother type of feel.
Yeah, I'm a fan. More so on the aspect that we're getting to see 205 Live guys
Yeah.
on Raw in an actual utilized situation, not in the 6-man tag. This is our 205 Live segment. Let's change the ropes purple.
Mm-hmm.
In an actual, oh yeah, these are just other guys that we have on our roster that we can use.
Other talented guys.
Yeah, other talented guys, which all of them are, that we can utilize on our roster in actual storylines. Like, if you think about it, technically speaking, Finn Balor is a 205 Live guy.
Agreed, yep.
Based off his weight.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's Finn Balor, he's a mid to high card guy. Why do we not bring in the guys like the Lio Rushes, the Drew Gulaks, like the guys that are impressive and will continue to be impressive? And even like anyone, it could be literally bring in Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, like
bring in
I was going to
everyone.
say, you can bring in any cruiserweight and you could have them go one-on-one in a match, you know, just a throwaway match, whatever it may be. And you could have, let's say, Drew Gulak versus, I don't know, let's say Jinder Mahal. Maybe that would be a match we'd want to see, or you know, like,
right? Like that's what I'm. Well, not
them.
that
match necessarily.
Heel, but yes, I know what you mean. Like, why are we not seeing Cedric Alexander versus Jinder Mahal?
Yeah, why is your cruiserweight champion not being sometimes shown up on Raw? And you know, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to win every single match that he's in. You can do a cheap little disqualification. You know, if you have this cruiserweights come over, then why isn't Buddy Murphy going to interfere in the match with Cedric Alexander versus whoever, right? Like, you can continue your storylines that way while utilizing your talent that you have on the roster and making the show feel as fresh as hell. Because if you add cruiserweights versus the main roster right now, the cruiserweights have been killing it. They're going to bring a new dynamic to the show, right? And they're going to bring that high-flying ability against your main roster people. And they don't always have to win, but if they look good, then that makes the division look good.
Exactly. Like, why do we not see a Chad Gable versus a Drew Gulak type thing, right? As just like a match. Like, that match as an overall wrestling standpoint would be incredible. Why are we not seeing that?
Mm-hmm. We need to see more of it.
But I think that my point is, I think that this is building in the right direction. I think that we're getting there. I think we're going to be getting something like that soon, hopefully. And I think that Lio Rush is a great guy to start this push.
Yeah, and I like the resurgence of managers, you know, whether it be Drake Maverick, whether it be Lio Rush, you know.
I guess I didn't even. Drake Maverick's technically the first guy out of 205 Live, and and he's doing well too.
He's doing well. I mean, the AOP was him later. AOP was in the main event, right? Like, that's they weren't there beforehand, not before him. So that's saying something. Okay, we did get Nia Jax versus Alicia Fox. Jax defeated Fox. Really not too much to talk about this match. Alicia Fox, though, I think she needs to be used more and more each week, whether it be in an enhancement talent role or whatever. She's just that good veteran presence on screen that's crazy and athletic enough, you know, to get a good match out of anybody.
Well, like you just said there, I think it's just nice seeing her on screen.
Yeah, really. It really is.
For any, like, I think that she just has this thing about her, whether it was earlier in the night with the Jinder Mahal bit or whether it was here. And
you notice her when she's on TV, right?
You notice her.
You don't feel like she's... You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean to throw Mickie James under the bus here, but she doesn't feel like she's Mickie James when she's out there. She feels like
Mickie James.
Current Mickie James, yeah. Like, not legend Mickie James, like current Mickie James. She doesn't feel like she's just another person out there. She feels like at any point she could, you know, go off the deep end and do something crazy. Like, that's the good thing with her character. It's kind of like our Truth's character, where at any point he can do something crazy and you'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's freaking R-Truth, right?
It's how he stays relevant.
Exactly. And Alicia Fox has done a damn good job over the years of hanging around. You know, she made it through. You got to remember, Alicia Fox is a former Divas champion. She was around in the Divas age. And she's been around. She continues to
technically so was Paige and Charlotte.
You know, she was a legitimate diva. Like, that was her character. She was a diva. And it's amazing to see that she has been able to change her characters, morph, and stay around and avoid the axe for all of these years, because you know what? She's just good at what she does.
Exactly.
And I think we need to see more of her on TV, just a little bit. I don't want to push for Alicia Fox, just more on TV.
I like what we've seen of her lately. I think this is the right amount. I don't know that more, but I think this is the right utilization of her.
Yeah. There you go. That's a fair way to put it. Yeah, keep showing her on TV, but not in an overexposed type of scenario.
Exactly.
Okay. We then got the main event, which you said was your favorite match of the week here. You want to tell me a little bit why it was your favorite match?
I just liked all the moving pieces to it, honestly. I liked the aspect of the Pac coming out and watching it in a different way too, not watching it at the announce table. They just sat on the ramp with steel chairs, just because those are weapons as well. So at any point, and then those guys were great, and like you said, Dolph being great. The aspect of the actual match itself was a lot going on at all times, which everyone looked good in that match. Every guy in that match can go, and
which, I loved seeing that AOP was finally showcased that they can go, because we know they can go. We've seen them in NXT. Everybody and their mother knows they can go in the ring, but they haven't been allowed the time or the spotlight to shine. And in their very first time to shine, they killed it.
Yeah, I just love that they gave him time. I thought it was a good match. I thought all the guys got a chance to showcase some stuff.
I like how AOP was protected in the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that little mid-match thing where kind of looked like, oh, okay, there's going to be a DQ, and then you still got another 10 minutes of the match.
That was one thing. The match felt like at 3 or 4 separate places that it could have ended.
Yeah, and I just thought it was well done.
Yeah.
Overall, and we got to see some stuff that we don't normally. There were a couple things, obviously, that I was just like, okay, whatever. I didn't really understand why when they're attacking Seth Rollins on the outside. Yeah. I'm like, you're not going to get disqualified. That's your opponent. Why are you guys trying to hide it from the ref?
Yeah, that I think more plays into that. It's just how heels have been getting cheap heat for a long time, right? The ref's back is turned, so of course they're going to hammer away on that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, the match was, I thought, quite solid from start to finish. I do think the Raw Tag Team title match was better.
I think that was a phenomenal match.
I do think that it was better, but the fact that we're sitting here at the end of the night and saying tag team wrestling was the thing that stole the show on the night. I think that's really good to hear. WWE, they've always killed their tag team division when it involves, single stars, and they continued that track record here on that night.
Exactly.
So yeah, Raw, not bad at all,
Just solid night.
Very fun. Very fun to watch. But as we are kind of closing in on I'd say probably we got 20 minutes left in the show. 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah, so let's get through Smackdown Live here before the end of this pod, or as pod of awesomeness, good old E&C. E&C.
Yeah, C&B.
C&B. Yeah, baby. All right. So
C&B pod of Bobsonness.
Pod of Bobsonness. Let's go back to the drawing board on that motto. Right. We'll come back with something else at some other time. Oh man. But anyways, SmackDown Live started off with a new talk show segment, The Truth TV, featuring the amazing, the epic, the funny, the hilarious, the whatever you want to call it, 7-second
Carmella
dance and Carmella. Oh yeah, man, Mella's money. I love this segment. R-Truth was hilarious, and who would have thought that Truth TV, why wasn't this given to him a long time ago? Truth TV, a talk show segment that's just filled with goofiness. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, the guy's good. We were just talking about it, the aspect that he continues to be good because he doesn't even reinvent himself necessarily. but he stays so true to his character, so truth to his character,
Oh man,
that it comes around. You know, like you and I, big How I Met Your Mother fans. You know how the episode with Marshall's car, how he's like, oh, 500 miles, it'll come around, and then it comes back around.
Yep,
that's our truth.
That is
to wrestling fans. It's like, oh god, our truth is still kicking around, and then like a year later, you're like, our truth is great. All right.
Like the dude, honestly, like he's WWE's funniest character. I think he has been WWE's funniest character since Santino Marella left. I don't really think anybody has topped the comedic role, and maybe you could argue that B Team was pretty funny for their short little run, but consistently funny. R-Truth is the man. You know, he is a great comedic character. His crazy character that started all the way back in, like, you know, I think it was like 2011 with John Cena. It's morphed into something that is nothing but entertaining every time we see him. And I think WWE is also catching on, saying like, hey, let's push R-Truth to the moon right now. Like, you know, with some funny segments. We don't have to give him wins, and he'll still be over as hell.
Yeah, the last good team like that that's still there is Fashion Police.
Yeah. And
like they're the
next, hurt right now.
Yeah, and he's out. So like they're the only three guys I think that as true comedic guys that can go in the ring are, and then obviously the big one, New Day. But New Day can be a bit more serious at times as well when they need to be. But yeah, I don't know. I was a big fan of this, obviously, and it led to Miz versus Truth.
Yeah, but before we jump into like Miz versus Truth there, I do want to say that Daniel Bryan and Carmella were not just side pieces in that segment. They both held their own. Daniel Bryan,
definitely.
You know, I like that Daniel Bryan came across as genuine as possible, because it hasn't felt that genuine from Daniel Bryan yet. Like, you know, it's like, I'm back to punch Miz in the face, and it sounds like that's a line being fed to him, you know? Punch him in the face, punch him in the face. But here we got the organic Daniel Bryan of where he was sitting back in his chair, he was relaxed, he was laughing at R-Truth, he was loving the 7-second dance, and he was being Daniel Bryan. And I think he needs to get back to that, you know? The catchphrases has never really been... I know, as he chants, yes, other than yes, though, yes and no, he hasn't really been a big catchphrase guy for saying things, you know? He's always just come across as, I'm gonna try my hardest, I'm gonna beat you up, and I'm gonna win it for the fans, as opposed to just, I'm gonna punch you in the face. So I'm glad that we saw more of that OG Daniel Bryan come out in this segment, and Carmella also.
And Mella was great.
Yeah,
quick touch on Mella, because she is your favorite.
Yeah, I love her.
What do you think of the face turning that we're doing here?
I like it.
And the dark hair.
You know, we could use a bit more explanation as to exactly why she turned face, you know? But I guess all the justification that we need is R-Truth is a likable guy, and she's with R-Truth, you know, they're partners. As for the hair dyeing, I think it's a great little storyline thing. Her partner, R-Truth, got her confused with Maurice all the time, so she dyed her hair. It's a very easy little thing that they dropped in that segment, that R-Truth just addressed the hair. He said, and thank you for dyeing your hair. I can now tell you're the different one. You know, like, that's
and
funny.
He still calls Maurice the other Carmella.
The other Carmella.
It's that dude's great.
He's great.
All right.
Yep.
Let's move on to the match.
Match. So the match ended up being, you know, Miz defeating R-Truth with a pinfall. He reclaims Miz TV. That was another little side thing there. I hope that, you know, Truth TV just continues and that Miz still gets Miz TV and we can have both of amazing things. If not, though, then it was a fun little one-off episode for Truth TV.
What I loved was the way that Miz won this match, though.
Okay.
The aspect that he won it on the running knee while Daniel Bryan is on commentary, and he looks at him and does his little yes chant and hits the running. Like, is there anyone better at being a dick than Mike Mizanin? Like, is there anyone better?
I think you're going to be You're going to have a tough time finding an answer to that question.
And the worst part is, like, I see stuff backstage and like things that he does with fans and stuff, and he's actually like looks like one of the best dudes.
Well,
Right?
I mean,
Like
he'd
he
have to
looks
be,
like an
right?
amazing guy.
You would have to be, because the way that he won over the locker room since, debuting in WWE, if he was a dick backstage, he wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Yeah.
Like he struggled for a long time with the main roster, so
and he's so good at being such a terrible person out there.
Mm-hmm.
And just making you hate him in every aspect. Like the littlest things like that, the little things. Just being like, hits Daniel Bryan's knee while looking at him. It's such a heel thing, such a classic. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love The Miz. That's why The Miz is my favorite wrestler in WWE, and if not in the world today.
So damn good. So good. But we got
Some may even say that he's awesome.
Yeah? Yeah? Is that what some people say?
Like he says it.
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah. There you go, bud.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, so we got the New Day and the Bar. They had a little segment together. Not really much said beforehand, basically that the New Day respects the Bar. But they're still going to beat them. That's what they like to say. We had the one-on-one match, then followed it up. Big E versus Sheamus. Two brutes in the ring. Surprising result. We don't see Big E lose or get pinned very often. But he ate the clean pinfall from Sheamus off of a brogue kick. 1, 2, 3. Solid match.
Yeah, I like it. It shows that Sheamus, like, as dominant and powerful as Big E is, Sheamus is just as dominant and powerful.
Yeah. Do you think the Bar actually has a legitimate chance of capturing it back, the tag titles, or do you think the New Day it's a foregone conclusion that they're probably winning this one?
I think they're probably going to still win this one.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It's just something feels a little off about the Bar on this push, this little push to the titles. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like a push to win the titles, right? Especially considering that in back-to-back weeks now, they've picked up 2 clean solo wins. So that feels like WWE's given them the TV wins so that the New Day can win the title match. I could be wrong, though. I wouldn't mind seeing the Bar with the titles.
The Bar's great. If the Bar wins it, I won't be shocked.
Yeah.
But
I think the idea is to keep the titles on New Day right now, though.
Yeah.
Which is completely fine. So we then had the WTF moment of the week. I guess, not copyright infringement or gimmick infringement there at all. But Aiden English, he had the words for Rusev and Lana. Something happened in Milwaukee. Like, what do you think happened in Milwaukee? Because I have a theory for you. Do you have anything? What do you think?
Nothing. Honestly, nothing? This is the fan in me, though, wanting to not be the mark. Okay. This is the fan of me wanting to be like, I just want to know, but I want them to tell me.
Yeah, I want them to
but
tell me.
But I want to know,
well.
I want to know what your thought here
All
is.
right. So, as I lean back, I crack my knuckles here. I came across a little something on the Twit machine. It was...
What's that? The Twit machine?
The Twit machine, at Conman167, at BOBSRASSLIN, the Twitter machine.
That Twit machine. Yeah, Bob's Wrestling and Conman 167, right?
Where you can follow us over there. Yeah, that's exactly it. You've got it now.
Okay.
But I saw something that had me scratching my head on Twitter. The last time that Rusev and Lana were on a TV show in Milwaukee, guess who was backstage and guess who had a segment with them? The Rock. The Rock. So, if this leads to Rusev versus The Rock, take my money. Like, Rusev, Ruru, if Lana screwed him over with The Rock, are you kidding me? He's going to be the biggest babyface in the WWE. Like, I know that, I hope that Lana and Rusev, if that's, like, if maybe they don't split them up somehow, but holy hell. Like, I hope The Rock and Rusev have a match. That's a match that I didn't think I really wanted to see, but I do.
It's just not a match that I didn't think I wanted to see, but just a match that I didn't think was even an option.
Yeah. And with all the rumors surrounding The Rock possibly coming back to TV, maybe this is their the start to it. Maybe their Aiden English is just like a way for this feud to get there. I don't know. But regardless, let me speak also a little bit about Aiden English. He feels like he's a natural in this manipulative heel role.
I was gonna say I really like the darkness that he brought.
Yep, me too.
I like the happy, what was it, Happy Aiden Day?
Yeah, Happy Aiden Day.
And how it's just dark and like kind of looks gloomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I'm intrigued by.
That's the
you know
big
what
thing.
I do love about Aiden English? This dude is constantly. He's one of those guys that's able to constantly reinvent himself and keep himself on the roster.
Yeah, he's gonna find some way to get himself on TV.
Yeah,
some way.
Impressive.
And you know what? English. This feud is gonna benefit both English and Rusev, and probably Lana as well. Like it doesn't seem like it's a feud that is gonna slow the momentum for anybody involved. It feels like the Rusev Day program has picked up another notch since this.
Shockingly for me, because as I said a couple weeks ago, I didn't think that this was the way that it was gonna feel, but I'm excited about it.
English showed that his time with Rusev was just as beneficial for himself as it was for Rusev benefiting from English.
But again, Aiden is in my mind, he's being the highlight of this entire promo they're running. Their entire run together against each other. I think Aiden's going to be the MVP of that, but I think Rusev will benefit more.
Yeah, well, I think the end goal is clearly to get Rusev over as a babyface. If it wasn't, they would have had Rusev turn on Aiden English and then kept Aiden as like a babyface, which I'm glad they didn't, because that was the way it was seeming to go. It felt like Aiden was going to get turned on by Rusev at some point, and then Aiden was going to be the sympathetic babyface who just tried his damn hardest to win over the friendship of Rusev, but it wasn't enough. That's felt like the way the story was going.
100%.
But they turned it the opposite way, and it's made intriguing TV. It's made Rusev and Aiden English one of the top programs on SmackDown Live, which
in the WWE.
In the WWE alone, yeah, as well. Like, I don't think anybody would have expected that a year ago, right?
Definitely not.
Not a chance. But we are closing in on our time limit here.
Couple minutes.
Let's roll through here. Let's roll through here pretty quick. Because we had Asuka and Naomi versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Asuka and Naomi pick up the win here. That was just their match. Asuka being put into a more of a comedy role, I'm okay with, as long as the end result is some sort of push for her out of this. To bring her back to that monster type of competitor, whether that's a heel turn on Naomi or just, an amicable split.
Or tag team titles.
There's got to be some sort of push for her that returns her to being this dominant competitor. Because right now, I'm okay with a comedy role because she doesn't have anything to do.
Agreed.
If they do find something, though, for her to do, this is a perfect launching pad. All she has to do is either attack Naomi or, just straight up say, I'm back. There's so many ways they can do it, but at least this keeps her on TV, which, as before, they were keeping her off TV, which was not the right call.
Agreed.
Okay, Nakamura versus Ty Dillinger. Love that Nakamura was on TV, as well as Dillinger. The United States title and the champion should be on TV every single week in some way. I don't like when the champions left off TV, whether it be a backstage interview or whatever. They need to be on TV. Nakamura comes out. He gets hit hard from the Perfect 10 early on, and Dillinger looked pretty good. But Randy Orton continues his warpath through the SmackDown Live roster. What do you think about his latest target?
Yeah, the match itself was good. I think Randy, I love that he's just menacing.
Yeah, menacing.
I love that he'll just go after anyone and everyone, and that he's going to continue to, like you said, what was the word you used? Warpath?
Yeah, warpath, yeah. He's on a warpath right now.
And he's just going to destroy anyone in his way.
Yeah, little thing that I noticed, though, this is back-to-back feuds where Orton has been helping out Nakamura. Is there something more to that? Do you think?
Well, I think that Randy said it himself that he's going after those that everybody loves.
Yeah,
and
it's weird that it's benefiting Nakamura.
Yes,
Both
a little
times.
bit.
Both times. Well, I mean, Randy Orton benefited Nakamura greatly when Jeff Hardy was going after the United States title.
Yeah, I meant it is a little strange.
Yeah,
like it's a little bit weird that that's the case.
I wonder if there is something more to there. Whether it's Orton and Nakamura just have some sort of backstage alliance. I'd like to see them dive into that a little more. Imagine as Randy Orton as not necessarily the bodyguard for Nakamura, but the watcher. He's watching over all the guys that are coming, the favorites that want to take that title away from him. Maybe that's something that they got going on. Don't know. Also really impressed that Dillinger is getting lots of TV time. Like I said, he has been on in constant weeks. He deserves to be on, and good for him. Hopefully this leads to at least a Smackdown match against Randy Orton, if not a pre-show match with Orton. I think would be...
Yeah, it'd be nice.
It would be fine, yeah. Okay, Lana versus Becky Lynch. Lana's at least improving. She's at least improving. She didn't look...
Definitely improving.
She didn't look incompetent in the ring. She had a couple good moves, the Bulldog, the Face Buster, things like that. They were pulled off well. She does look still a little unsure in the ring. She looks like she second guesses her steps sometimes, but that will come with more and more reps. But yes. Becky Lynch picks up the win over Lana, how it should be.
Of course,
I like that Lana is at least she feels like a big deal outside of the ring, but when she gets in the ring, they don't push her like a big deal. So I'm glad that they can separate the two of those right there. Becky Lynch, though, this latest run from her is not to be punny at all, but straight fire. She is incredible.
I hate you.
And also, I forgot to mention Becky Lynch attacking Charlotte backstage on the night as well, and standing over top of her and telling the photographer to take her picture. What a move! Like, I don't know how you can get any hotter than this.
Becky's been great. I never want her to change.
Never change, Lynch. Never change.
Never change.
Then we had the main event. It was supposed to be a contract signing, and I think people were expecting a contract signing, which is why when it went into this sadistic, I don't know what to even describe it as, stalking, creepy, illegal move from Samoa Joe, no one was expecting it. No one was expecting it. Not
necessarily illegal.
Oh, well, I guess that's true, but
it's not illegal.
Not
to
illegal. It's not. But I'm guessing when you're told to get off the property that you're not welcome at the house, it could kind of be like trespassing. Maybe illegal's not the way. Just freaky. He is. Yeah. He looked like a menace there, posing outside of the white picket fence with the mailbox, and the way that he rang the doorbell and said "Daddy's home." It was quite the little segment. If I was to redo it, though, if like in any way, I would have had them fade off, with Joe just literally saying, "Oh, Wendy," as he rang the doorbell, and then cut to black like that. That if I would have changed one line, that would have been pretty funny. But
yeah. I don't know. I loved the segment. I thought this is great. It's the aspect of you and I were talking about a couple weeks ago, and the aspect that we're getting to see this kind of WWE thing where they're going and going outside of the ring, going outside of the arena, and they're bringing in the personal lives, and they're making it a bit more personal. And I really like that. The one thing though, I don't know how I feel about it is it leaves me wondering if I would have preferred it if we actually got to see Joe with Wendy.
I was thinking that the same thing, because I've literally got written down here, do cliffhangers like that work in the WWE? And it's so difficult because from a storyline telling standpoint, yes, they work like that. A straight cut to black, of a guy on a video screen. You know, they work in theory. However, at the end of the show, it left me saying, is that it? You know, is that it? Not necessarily saying, I want to know what's next, more so asking, is that it? And I'm not sure if that's a good thing to have.
Yeah, that's what I mean exactly. I'm not 100% sure if I'm a fan that it left me wondering, okay, so what, are they going to show a video next week of what happened at the house, or are they just going to clear it up because AJ's going to talk about it and Joe's going to talk about it and there's going to be people talking about it? I'm like, the thing that made like all those other older segments so great was we actually got to see them go in the house and wreak some havoc.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, you know, the Triple H Randy Orton segment where Randy Orton was getting thrown through his house and all that, and Triple H was breaking things inside. You know, it would have been cool to see maybe Joe go in, but not break anything. You know, ring the doorbell. Wendy answers it. She screams and Joe enters the house, right? And maybe his daughter's upstairs sleeping and he gets like, you know, beside the bed and he just says, sweet dreams. You know, just something menacing like that where it's all psychological but no physical would have been a cool thing to see with Samoa Joe. There was a little bit of something missing with that segment, you know, whether it be the timing of it fading to black or the fact that we didn't get to see AJ Styles' reaction after Joe said Daddy's home. Like, I would have liked if maybe the screen cut to black on the Jumbotron, then it cut back to AJ Styles' face who was looking around helpless. You know, like, what do I do? Like, he's there, and then have Styles running out, you know, just running out of the ring at the very last second, you know, just like towards the end. And then that just, the little screen pops up that says it's the end of the show, copyright, whatever, and then fade to black. I would have liked to see that. Some sort of reaction from Styles, you know, just something like that. But it's tough to nitpick when you had a damn good segment like that, right?
Yeah, like you said, something was missing.
Just a little bit. I'm just not sure if those type of cliffhangers work, like is exactly like they wanted them to work. But regardless, you know, fun episode of SmackDown Live. Just to quickly end off the show here, our MVPs of the week. Mine's Dolph Ziggler. Who's yours?
You know, I was going to go with The Miz because I love The Miz. And he just was great again this week, just to give him some kudos. But I'm gonna change it as we talked through the show. I'm gonna go with Liv Morgan.
Okay, I like that one. I like that. You know what? She is she should be the MVP after taking that kick and still
just
finishing
like the aspect of staying in the match for as long as she did. She took bumps in the match.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good one. Kudos to Liv Morgan, and get well soon, Liv. We all want to see you back inside the WWE ring. You are a breath of fresh air on Monday Night Raw, you and the Riot Squad, so get better soon. Best match of the week, though, I had the Raw Tag Team match. You had what?
Shield versus Corbin and AOP.
There you go, guys. That was it. Our MVP and the best match of the week. I liked this episode here today. It was kind of cool. We normally just talk about the results, but we went on to a little bit more rants today, and I think that made for a good episode.
It was nice.
Yeah,
I think it was solid. Let us know what you guys think.
Yes, but also, while you're letting us know what you think in the comments down below, make sure you go check out our Twitters as well. You can follow me, Connor, at Conman167, or you can follow Bob at BOBSRASSLIN. That's Bob's Wrestling. So, guys, follow us on Twitter, and you can tweet at us anytime and talk all things wrestling.
Also, be sure to check out Conman Shopify for some serious new merch. Bob Club merch, Bob hats, Con artist merch.
Yeah, Con hats.
And
you know, there's everything.
There.
There's posters. Like we got a Halloween poster coming out very soon on the merch store as well. Check out the merch store. Links are down in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. And if you happen to be watching on Podbean, I'm sure that the link is somewhere there on the page as well. You know, I'm not too sure if I've got it up there yet, but I'll try to get it up there as quick as I can.
Thank you so much for listening, guys.
Yes, thank you very much.
Sorry about last week, and
yeah,
thanks for being here.
Yeah.
I've been Bob.
And I've been Con. And that was the Con and Bob podcast.